I've realised that we've started filming, right, and we don't have a name for this.
This is a fair point, well made.
So if you can see a title down here, then that's something we've talked about at a later date.
Yeah, this is probably something that will have been last minute, not really thought of, not planned at all, just sort of some random title for this.
It was a, should we film tomorrow? Yeah, alright.
Yeah, why not?
And that's what I was sort of expecting you to be busy for until like the end of the week or something like that, so I could actually film some notes or something, or even think of a title at least, if nothing else. So, hello folks!
G'day!
This is going to be a pilot of a new series that we've decided we're going to give a try to.
Yeah.
Where we
review
ECW, original ECW, not the WWE ECW. Original ECW pay-per-views from 1997 through to 2001. Okay, and we're going to start tonight with Hardcore Heaven 97 from August 1997. So, if you're wondering, which I'm sure you are, why we are doing these shows more than some other ones, it's nice and simple. We've got a nice little thing going here. Dave is a big original ECW fan, you know.
I love it. Original ECW was something that I grew up watching, you know what I mean? Like, fortunately, my stepbrother nabbed a ECW tape when no one was looking, and just sort of like, we watched that religiously. It was amazing. I think it was Living Dangerously 98, something to that effect, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I love ECW. Mark, on the other hand,
anyone who has seen any of my original ECW reviews will know that I'm not a massive fan of it. Garbage wrestling is one of those things that doesn't really do it for me, and yeah, I find watching the pay-per-views, I think that a lot of them are very, very overrated. So we have got a very interesting little contrast here, haven't we? So we're going to start off with this one, and we're going to try, with this pilot, we are going to try something I've never done before, and that is we're going to watch a match and then film a review immediately, instead of watching the whole show and then maybe doing a review of it later on. So, and what we're thinking is that everything will be fresh in our minds straight away. And it also means that we'll be able to flow naturally. Instead of doing my normal style, which is just to make loads and loads of notes, we figured it might flow. If it doesn't work, you'll have to let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll go back to the conventional way of doing it maybe for the next one. But
I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, this is just like pilot testing. You know, I mean, we're just sort of like figuring shit out at the minute. So
cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, on with the show.
Hey. So
it is August the 17th, 1997, and we, along with 1,800 rabid ECW fans, are at the War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale in Florida, United States. Now, this is an interesting one. Before we go to our first little segment, I was under the impression that ECW operated New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, that sort of area of the Northwest. And the Northeast, sorry. I'd never realised that ECW went to Florida.
Yeah, it was actually quite surprising, considering how small of a company that they were. Like, how much travelling they did, to be honest. They did a couple of places, if I remember correctly, but could not tell you off the top of my head, so hey-ho.
So, in the opening package thing, the opening part of the show is Joey Styles telling us about our two main events we're going to get tonight. Of course, I'm going to this show completely blind, so I have no idea what is coming. Our main event is Terry Funk versus Shane Douglas versus Sabu, and that's a rematch from the night the line was crossed. That's the night. That was like one of the first match that really put ECW on the map.
Yeah, something. It was. It was the night that the line was crossed. Sabu was fucking.
I'm guessing that, by the way. I'm sure I remember that. But
the problem that we have is I haven't seen this show in years.
Whereas I've never seen it.
Years and years. So this is kind of a revisit for both of us, to be honest.
Our other main event is Jerry the King Lawler versus Tommy Dreamer. And as Styles is telling us about that, Rick Rude comes out, which I fucking marked out for.
Oh, yes.
I love me some Rick Rude. So I didn't know, this was a complete surprise to me, so I was well happy about that. He cuts a promo because Joey Styles refuses to interview him.
Yeah.
He cuts a...
Which, to be fair, if you consider what had happened the previous taping with Rude going heel and stuff like that. Yeah, who can blame him?
But yeah, as he's talking, he introduces Chris Candido, and then Todd Gordon comes out and complains that Rick Rude isn't a manager, so if he doesn't leave the building, Chris Candido forfeits the following match. So, of course, rather predictably, Rude goes. So, our opening contest of the evening is Chris Candido versus It's Taz! It's Taz! And this is for Taz's TV Championship. Any idea?
World TV Championship.
World TV
Let's not discredit the title.
So what did you think of our opening contest?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, this match kind of it antithesis what ECW was back in the day. It was different to WCW and WWF. WWF and WCW had a certain product that they produced. It was sports entertainment. So ECW catered to a different style of wrestler, a more, hardcore fan. Now, not to say with weapon shots or anything like that, but take this match for example, say, so crisp, so beautiful. Taz's suplexes were amazing, absolutely amazing. Where else are you going to see a match like this? ECW. That's why it's so awesome.
Suplex King Taz lives up to his name in this one, hitting some horrendously brilliant suplexes. A gorgeous Northern Lights suplex, beautiful German Lights suplex.
German Lights
Whatever
suplex.
Not. And the best of the bunch, a super Northern Lights suplex.
So good.
But it wasn't
so
just the thing I loved about this match. I mean, I saw who it was and that'll do. These two should be good. I love the psychology in this one. The build up to this one is that both men have broken their necks. So the whole match is just Taz is doing these ridiculous suplexes, obviously on the net, whereas Candido takes a much more mat-based approach, using submissions, hitting leg drops and things like that.
Yeah, he takes a very methodical approach to the match, whereas Taz goes for the high impact moves. His exploder suplex that he hits on Candido, absolutely beautiful,
Really
so
was.
crisp. Candido sells it perfectly.
There's no one in wrestling at this time doing suplexes like Taz, is there?
Exactly.
He's just throwing people around willy-nilly, and it's just so good. Taz wins with Tazmission in about 10 minutes. It's actually really good because Taz is up on the Brett's rope, and Candido sort of backs in towards him. He's like, yeah, but Taz is just does this at the same time, blocks the Tazmashing on, gets the win. About 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, something
so it could have
like
been a bit longer.
Could have been a bit longer, but for what it is, it's a great opener.
It's an interesting one as well because normally, what I was going to say is that Taz gets a lot of offense in for the babyface, and I think if it was any other wrestler, I don't think Candido got enough offense in, but because of Taz's character, that he doesn't give a fuck and he just throws people around. But I didn't mind it in the slightest. Really enjoyed this one. Good match. So yeah, starting off to a decent match. I like that one. Our next moment is Joey Styles introducing a little bit of video from earlier on, why you should go to the shows, because something happened before they went live on air, which was the Insane Clown Posse coming out with Rob Van Dam and Bill Alfonso and his fucking whistle. And RVD beat up Insane Clown Posse because he's a heel now.
Yep.
Don't forget that. He's
very heely heel.
At barely legal. Okay, match number 2 then is your boy Triple B.
Bam Bam Bigelow. God bless this man.
Versus Little Spike Dudley. Now, one of the things I liked about this match, straight before I go on, is before it started, Joey Styles introduced why this match was happening. There's no build-up package or anything like that. Basically, he told us that Spike Dudley had beaten Triple B on national TV, and Bam Bam Bigelow wants a rematch. Yeah. Nice one, nice and simple. Yeah. Cheers for that, Joey. That's great commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a bit of a squash, though. This was Bam Bam wanting his revenge. It was a revenge match. And yeah,
it was a very good one though, let's be honest. I mean, as I said, Spike bumps like a bandit for Bam Bam Bigelow. He makes him look so brutal. Like the things like the power bomb and the
let's just have a quick talk about it. So Spike gets a tiny bit of offense in. He gets the acid drop earlier on, but then it's one of those like Bam Bam was pissed off, and now you've really made him mad. So he hits him with a get the fuck down powerbomb, and then drops him face first on top of the ring post, which busts him open. Something rotten, blood everywhere for the rest of the match, and it's all over the canvas.
It's almost hard to watch because you can just see it like straight away. He's an absolute crimson mask. It's ridiculous.
He then pulls Spike into the ring so that he can hoist him up as high as he can and throw Spike into the crowd.
Yeah.
Again, because I wasn't expecting this, I marked out something wrong. That was absolutely fantastic because the fans, I guess they were meant to catch him and they just didn't. So Spike just flopped onto the concrete.
See, it was one of the things, like, Spike Dudley got thrown out to the crowd. It happened. People crowd surfed him, it was all fun and games. The crowd on this night just did not catch him.
No,
they did not
really
catch him. They didn't even attempt it, so he just face plants straight into chairs. Brilliant stuff.
So then, when Spike eventually gets in the ring, Triple B picks him up and hits what I thought was a modified, imagine like a Rikishi driver. Just drives him head first into the canvas, hits the moonsault, and that gets the 1, 2, 3. I'd be surprised if this was over 5 minutes long, to be honest.
It's that, if that. I mean, I think it was supposed to hit like sort of a backbreaker or something like that, but he doesn't. He just almost like pile driver, Rikishi. Oh God, I don't even.
Green
know.
Smash Park gets the win. I enjoyed this for what it was. It was very short, but it was just an absolutely merciless demolition of someone. And it's like you said, Spike bumped like such a boss. He made Bam Bam look like such a menace. It was brilliant.
Very good match in my opinion.
Two enjoyable matches.
Bam Bam looked good. So good. Good show.
I've gone into expecting to hate it, and it's one of those so far so good. Can you keep it up, ECW? Joey Styles. I did it on purpose.
Lol.
Honest. Shows it was the Sandman who saved the Insane Clown posse earlier on, but then the numbers game caught up with him, and Sabu and RVD beat the living snot out of him to the point where he was loaded into ambulance, as you would say.
Into ambulance. Totally.
So, match number 3 is another surprise, because it's RVD versus Al fucking Snow. Had no clue that Al Snow was in ECW at this time. I knew that he was in ECW before he turned up at King of the Ring 98, or around that time, didn't he, in the WF, but in my head he was in ECW in like early 97, not at this point.
Yeah, I think...
early 98, sorry, not this is mid 97, so yeah.
Yeah, I think he came in like sort of mid 97 and then moved on to WWE like sort of later on in 98 and stuff like that, so... It's quite a surprise to see him, to be honest. I wasn't expecting Van Dam versus Al Snow on this card, to be honest.
That was a big surprise. I was very happy about that. In a bit that I can't explain, and I wonder if you can, this is announced as being a Monday Night Rules match, and then isn't mentioned again for the rest of the match.
I could only speculate that this was something to do with Van Dam's gimmick at the time, where he was working with WWF and WCW. Any match that he was in was contested under Monday Night Rules, I guess, something like that.
If he had that, he was in WCW briefly in the early 90s, wasn't he?
Yeah, but we don't talk about the dark times.
Pardon me. RVD's got like a big WWF logo here, and then he's got a WCW logo on his ass.
It's very funny. Very, very clever placement.
This match was really quite good, lasting just shy of 14 minutes. This one was very back and forth. Both men getting some really nice stuff in. Starting off from a wheelbarrow German suplex by
very nice by Snow.
He got a crossbody, he got a superplex. There's a sign in the crowd, right, that I just wanted to touch upon that says Virginia is extreme, which I just don't quite get, because of course we're in Florida here, so why Virginia is extreme? Is it, if they're talking about the state, that is, or is it just that someone called Virginia, and Virginia is extreme? She is, he is, it is extreme. I just don't understand why. Saying that, they also have a sign saying that Joey is a Marc, so yeah, I don't know what that means. RVD, it does a moonsault off the barrier. He does a lovely plancher. He does a standing sweet moonsault. He gets the 5-star frog splash, and it's one of those moves where it's completely out of nowhere. So you're like, that's not gonna. Yeah, of course. Al Snow kicks out of it. Snow gets a standing moonsault of his own. Hits a nice Northern Lights bomb. Or Northern Lights bomb.
Very nice.
And then a dropkick and a plancher. He used some chairs, so I'm guessing there's no disqualification in a Monday Night Rules match. I don't know if that's part of it. RVD gets a Van Terminator, but as he goes for whatever his next move is, Al Snow goes low, hits a really nice DDT, but then a Van Terminator gets the win for Rob Van Dam. Like I said, about 13.50, something like that, by my count. What did you think of this match?
Good match. Good match. So far, all of the matches on this card have been very good, to be perfectly honest with you. Solid work by Al Snow. Nice to see him in ECW at this point. Van Dam, always good, always a great watch, always puts on a solid match. I think that these two worked well, really well together, Both of them looked strong at the end of the match. Little confused by the chair shots, to be honest with you. I didn't understand that at all. Again, it must be something to do with Van Dam's gimmick. I just can't figure it out.
There was one chair spot in particular where Al Snow walked all the way to the very end of the ramp of the curtain and then comes charging, barreling down the apron, and Van Dam takes a fucking baseball swing with a chair right in his face. Fantastic stuff. I mean, I'm not the biggest of fans of garbage wrestling, as everyone knows, but I actually popped with that. Because it was just so stupid. It's like, you know what's going to happen. But the moment he gets to the top of the fucking
He originally did the exact same thing earlier in the match as well, where he hits quite a nice clothesline onto Van Dam on the outside. So the second that you see him doing it for a second time, it's just like, hang on a minute.
This isn't going to end well, is it? So yeah, like you say, 3 for 3 for good matches. It's all good so far. And a little addendum, something before we go on for this next match, something I need to discuss about that last match, because we've just sat there and praising its high heaven. It's like, hang on a second, I forgot to mention the one big negative I have coming out of Rob Van Dam versus Al Snow, and that's Bill Alfonso's whistle. It was so fucking irritating. It's one of those things that it's not just, God, that's irritating, or God, that's this guy makes me want to boo him, sort of bad things. It's to the point where it's distracting from the match. You can't concentrate on the match properly because you just can't help. It's not like you're doing it on purpose or anything. You have a choice about it. You just can't help but focus on the whistle because it's so loud.
It's the fact that it's not like actual heat as such. You know what I mean? It's not like he's getting the crowd angry at him for something or anything like that. It's just plain irritating.
Yeah, that's all.
It takes away from the match. You know what I mean? It distracts you. You can't exactly enjoy the match in the same way. It's
I want someone to kick it into his face so he swallows it.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to add that bit in. So, Joey Styles takes us to some guy called Lance Wright, who is in, wait for it, he is in the Extreme Chopper. I don't know how this helicopter is extreme. I mean, it just is, alright?
It must have fireworks attached to it.
I don't know, it just says the Extreme Chopper. He and the Extreme Chopper, Lance, who the fuck is Lance? I just don't know. He is quite literally the definition of stupid.
He just turns up one day, alright.
I don't recall seeing him on any other shows. I did see him at Bell Eagle, I'm sure of it. Anyway, so they're following the ambulance that's got the Sandman in, but apparently the Sandman has commandeered the ambulance.
So Sandman's gone a bit tech and decided, I'm having this ambulance, lads.
He's trying to get back to the arena and can't find it. That's the whole point of this, is that he's lost. And Lance Wright is like, I can't bring him up. He doesn't have a phone or anything like that. This is so strange. This is really, really strange. And then we get a really nice little promo from Jerry the King Lawler, who will be seeing in action later on tonight. And he says that he's had The Undertaker come up to him, Bret Hart come up to him, and Stone Cold Steve Austin come up to him, saying that Lawler has their permission to use his finishing move. Tombstone, Sharpshooter, and the Stunner. Obviously, and our next match is an interesting one, as the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, with, get this, Big Dick Dudley, with Sign Guy Dudley, with Joel Gerner, and for reasons that are not explained in the slightest, porn star Gemma Jameson.
Bing, no problem with this whatsoever.
I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. It's just bizarre. A bit random. It's one of those, there's a porn star with them, because there is.
Why not? Why not?
We just...
Not only is she she's not just a porn star, she's an extreme porn star.
Oh yes, that's a very good point. It does actually say that on her title card as she comes out. Well remembered, dude. So their opponents are meant to be the Gangsters, but they're not here.
Yeah.
And it just says because Mustafa and New Jack can't be here, we're the new tag team champions.
Yeah. Like,
so I don't know whether they win by
forfeit
or...
If I remember correctly, the Dudleys wiped out the Gangsters in a cage match.
Okay.
At one of the previous tapings.
Okay.
But the Gangsters won. But because they weren't able to defend the titles, Joel Gertner stated that the titles should return back to the original owners, the Dudley boys. So.
Okay, then fair enough. So their opponents are some team called PG-13. This comprises of Wolfie D and JC Ice.
Yeah.
Apparently. These guys are the USWA Tag Team Champions, which is lovely. And they look tiny, I think, compared to the Dudley boys.
I believe that Joey Styles referenced that Jerry Lawler was heavily involved with
I think he's
that
the
company. And
I think the USWA is the Memphis territory, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So, nothing happens in the early going of this one. The only highlight is JC Ice kissing Jenna Jameson, and her selling of that was like it was the most revolting thing ever. It was actually really well done. You know?
The crowd give a nice little pop for that as well. It's like, oh shit.
So Wolfie D misses a splash off the top rope, injuring his arm. The Dudley boys go to work on the arm for quite some time, wrenching it and shit. They do a bit where Devon grabs the arm over the ropes and sort of dropping it on the shoulder, and then they do a little comedy skit a few moments later where it's Bubba Ray who ends up in the same position and Devon's doing it, and the crowd are loving it.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. This is one of those tricky ones because for me that looks very house showy. Yeah, it's the type of thing that, come on, we don't do this on a pay-per-view. But the point of it is that the crowd start giving them loads of shit for it, and Devon goes tech on the outside, and the referee's distracted by that, and it means that Big Dick Dudley can hit the double choke slam on the two members of PG-13.
This is something that I really liked about the Dudley boys, especially in ECW. There was so many of them, like the numbers game every time just like worked to their advantage. They were sneaky tag team, and I really liked that, to be honest.
So, from then, even though he wasn't the legal man, JC Ice becomes your face in peril, and he takes lots of beats, including a really nice tilt-a-whirl slam by Bubba Ray Dudley, and he gets tripped up by Jenna Jameson, which is a nice little throwback to the kiss. Really like that stuff. And then the hot tag comes to Wolfie D. He bothers me quite greatly, as you can probably imagine. I'm sure you didn't care about this one bit, but he didn't sell the arm for the rest of the match, which really pissed me off because the storyline, the psychology of that in the early goings of this match was absolutely faultless. I thought really clever psychology, and then just like
you just completely forget about it.
He gets a powerbomb. He gets a super bulldog. The two members of PG-13 do dives onto the outside. JC Ice is caught by Devon, but Wolfie D is spot on, but he walks into a 3D just out of nowhere, and that gets the win. About 10 minutes. This one, what did you think?
Definitely worst match so far, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it's a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. It's entertaining, and I think that the Dudleys end up looking like, a strong, crafty tag team. The way that they have been portraying themselves. It's very good. I didn't really appreciate so much of the offense of, say, Wolfie D and Ice. I thought that they were sloppy in places. JC Ice. Yeah, I thought that they were sloppy in places, to be honest with you. Kind of let themselves down a little bit, but overall I didn't think the match was too bad.
I thought that it didn't help that no one knew who these two
they just kind of like showed up.
So the Dudleys got heat, but it's because they were doing Dudley things. It's not like they were doing, that we had reason to care about JC Ice or Wolfie D.
No.
And I thought it was decent, but it just bothered me. If Wolfie D had sold the arm when he was getting the hot tag, this could have been so much more better. And like I said, the finish just really was properly out of nowhere, because until that moment, PG-13 were on the offense.
They've literally just like done a big dive to the outside, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. and then they just walked into the 3D, and that was that.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, finish could have been a lot better than that. Like I say, the psychology in it was just irritating. That really bothered me. As someone who really likes psychology, and of course, like I said, the reason it bothers me the most is because that they had just been doing it. They had just been perfectly working that arm, and it's one of those. Yeah, I know you rested up on the outside, but it bothers me. It bothers me, and I know a lot of people it doesn't bother them in the slightest. So I know.
I mean, I watched this match and eventually I just kind of forgot about the whole working the arm thing, to be honest with you. I don't know whether that's bad on my part or bad on the wrestlers.
Yeah. Alright then. So Lance Wright is up in the extreme chopper, still doesn't know why it's extreme, but I'll tell you this much, what we do know, what we learn from Lance Wright, or Right Lance, wrong Lance, I don't know, is that the Sandman, get out here, went to the shop, bought some cigarettes and a nice cold beverage. Cheers, Lance.
Always remember to drink and drive, kids.
In the arena, the lights go out. When they come back on, who's in the ring but Jerry the King Lawler? Part of the ongoing feud between the WWF and ECW that had happened. It started happening before Bare Legal, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then you saw the ECW guys on Raw and all of that jazz. So yeah, Jerry the King Lawler representing the WWF. He does something that puzzles me.
Yes. Very interesting way that he does his promos.
He gets in the ring, he does his promo, right? He cuts a promo, he's allowed to cut a promo, I get that. But he cuts the same promo they did earlier on backstage. The one about Undertaker, Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it's not just like he's paraphrasing it word for word, even the way he says the whole promo is identical.
It's quite strange, to be honest with you. It's kind of just like, not feeling up to the task this time then, Lawler. Yeah, just go through your promo again, it'll be fine.
So our semi-main event is Tommy Dreamer defeating Jerry the King Lawler. This is a grudge match of the grudge matches, isn't it, I suppose? Lawler gets busted open very, very early on. In the sort of, I suppose because this is a grudge match, you ain't going to see no technical wrestling in this one. There's going to be no collar and elbow tie-up at the start, so Dreamer's in a bad mood and wants to defend ECW, so he goes in the offense and beats the living shit out of Lawler, doesn't he? Dreamer. He uses all of the weapons. He uses a chair, for example. He uses a popcorn bucket. He uses the caffeinated beer of doom! And I'm just really bored by it, is the truth, because it's like, I get it, it's a grudge match, but do some wrestling, and they just don't, they just roll around the arena, crap. So, there's a sign in the crowd that says, I'm hardcore. And this is an interesting one, because he can't back it up at all, can he?
Yeah, I mean, do we have any evidence that this guy's hardcore at all?
We're going off his words, and we just know that he's hardcore, because he's a wrestling star. So yeah, Dreamer is launched off the top rope onto a chair to turn the tide. Lawler then goes on the offense and does some of the moves that Dreamer had done, like putting him bollock first onto the guardrail, for example. But he hits the pile driver.
Could have broken his neck.
Could have driven his pile with that. It's very dangerous and should be banned. It only gets 2, and I'll tell you for why. AJ Styles and commentary didn't pick up on this one once, and that was that Lawler didn't pull the strap down when he went for the pile driver. If he pulled that strap down, game over. But because he didn't, Dreamer was able to kick out. Lawler goes low, he then DDTs the ref. Because he can.
Yeah.
It's one of
those, does not make sense in the slightest.
I've got a surprise for you, because the lights go out, and when they come back on, it's Rick Rude!
My God!
And he takes out Tommy Dreamer, which is lovely. Lawler gets cover, but the resulting cover only gets 2. So Dreamer starts getting a comeback going, and the lights go out again! Whoever could it be? Well, it's Jake the Snake Roberts!
Sweet mercy.
Who hits the short arm, forearm, and the DDT to Tommy Dreamer, to a rapturous reaction. He then hits the short arm clothesline onto Lawler, who falls on top of Dreamer.
Brilliant.
And that gets a really, really good near fall. And then Dreamer's just about to DDT Lawler when the lights go out one last time. And you'll never guess who it was. It was actually Sunny.
My God.
And she sprays something like hairspray into Dreamer's face, but is stopped by Beulah McGillicuddy. She goes low on Lawler. Dreamer goes
low on Lawler.
Just to make it right. The testicular claw of death.
Oh yes, of course.
A DDT by Dreamer later gets the win. This match lasted about 18 minutes. And what did you think?
Oh God, where to begin? The start was boring, slow, as you say, and then when you started to get the legends coming in and stuff like that, like we've seen Rick Rude and Jake the Snake and stuff like that, and Sonny with the hairspray. It's like, oh my God, this is awesome. So it's a tough one to call, to be honest with you. What about you?
I agree with some of that. I just found the bit until the legends came out incredibly boring.
Yeah.
Because as much as it was a grudge match and they were beating the snot out of each other, they really were. It just didn't interest me at all. And
it's
then
like hefty weapon shots, like you can appreciate that, but it was brawling for brawling's sake.
It's like when Rude came out, because of what we'd seen earlier on with him and Chris Candido, no gimmicks needed. Sorry, I've just thinking that through me completely for a second there. Yeah, we knew that Rude was a heel, so he was going to attack Dreamer. We knew that was clear. But when Jake came out, it was a different story. Like, oh, maybe he's going to attack Lawler, seen as Rude had attacked Dreamer, and then we just even it out a little bit. He hit the DDT on Dreamer, and I popped. I thought it was great. It was such a crisp DDT. And then I didn't really care about Sonny. It's a surprise factor because she'd been in the WWF up until very recently. But it was,
See, I was surprised because I thought you'd go pop more for Sonny.
No, didn't care one bit.
Just like, never
mind.
That's
and
disappointing. Oh well.
Ref bump was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think because it's an Extreme Rules match, it's a grudge match, anything goes. So you don't need to bump the ref. I didn't enjoy it.
And the referee sold like death. He just literally died in the centre of the ring.
Horror. But yeah, no. This is not. It's not great at all. I mean, it's not that bad because at least there's some reason for all the weaponry because these two guys fucking at each other because of the different companies. But yeah, this is not me at all.
See, this is to me the brawl at the start. It's been done so much now that you get sick and tired of seeing it. You know what I mean? I mean, how many times have we seen brawls? I mean, in ECW alone.
Well, at this point, this is the thing. It's still fresh, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know?
So this is different. This is something new. At this stage, it's something that we've seen so much now. It's just boring.
Yeah, I suppose that could be it. You're not going to see this at SummerSlam '97, are you? So our main event is, as I mentioned before, a rematch of the night the line was crossed. It's Sabu. It's Shane Douglas and it's sorry, I'm just thinking twice they showed the graphic for the main event and it's not Shane Douglas, it's Franchise. So it's like Shane Douglas is like his nickname or something. See him in the ring now saying Shane Douglas Franchise. So have you ever seen the match from the night the line was crossed?
I don't remember ever seeing it. Maybe when I was like much younger, but not recently.
No, I've never seen it, so I can't tell you whether this was a classic or not back in 1994. But wait, we can't get on with the main event just yet because of course Lance Wright is up in the Extreme Chopper.
What is the point of this? What is the point of this?
No idea. This is the one where you can tell that it's pre-recorded because Lance Wright doesn't know who attacked Sandman. So it's just like, but we saw it before on camera.
Oh, God.
We know it was Sabu and Rob Brandau. Oh dear me.
I've never seen anything so stupid.
Yes, Sandman gets to the arena and batters some security with his cane. Okay, so our main event is Shane Douglas winning the ECW Championship, beating Sabu, who was the champion, and Terry Funk in an elimination match. My first note on this match is Alfonso's whistle for... I left it blank in case this was a long-ass match, and of course it was a long-ass match. So I've got... Imagine Alfonso's whistle for 15 straight minutes. Just hard to watch match for while Alfonso's there, trust me on that one. Usual triple threat things, double teaming by the heels, Sabu and Douglas batter Funk until Douglas hits Sabu. You know how it's always going to be the way. And then, right, so they attack each other for like 30 seconds, then go back to double team. There's a really nice double net break on Sabu onto 2 steel chairs. Funk gets a sloppy looking power driver. Douglas goes and gets some guardrail from the back and then gets launched onto it in one of those. Yeah, that was always going to happen.
Like, oh, that looked nasty too, you know what I mean?
And then in the first part of the match, this really bothered me. Shane Douglas, for those who don't know, the franchise, of course, his finishing move always baffled me because it was belly-to-belly suplex. You know how the Bailey uses the belly-to-belly these days? That's not a finishing move, really, is it? You know, especially when we've seen Taz doing all those suplexes in the openers. Like, of all the suplexes there are, how about a belly-to-belly?
Ooh.
You know. Anyway, the point is that he hits the belly-to-belly on both men, but bear in mind, that's his finish. Like I say, instead of going for the finisher, he locks on a sleeper hold on Terry Funk, which it's all to set up a 3-way sleeper spot that they'd done on the night the line was crossed. So they had to throw it in there somewhere. It's just, why here? It just made no sense whatsoever. That really fucking bothered me.
Roughly.
Yes, I mean, I get why they did it, because like I say, it was how it happened in the first one, but you know, no, come on. Just no.
I don't know. They could have like planned it a little bit better, to be honest with you. I mean, why have it like right there?
I think it really buries his own finisher.
Exactly.
Is the truth.
Exactly.
Sabu botches a moonsault. He then gets one to both men. Let's go Shane, Jan.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Which Styles tries to say these fans are behind Terry Funk. He's like, no, it's clearly Let's Go Shane. Interesting. Anyway, Sabu sets up a table. Alfonso attacks Funk, puts him on the table. Then Todd Gordon comes out and starts bunching up Alfonso, which is great, of course, because no more whistle. Sabu's up on the top of the turnbuckles. He doesn't realise that that Funk has been pulled off by Todd Gordon, and so he drives Todd Gordon and Bill Alfonso through the table, so no more Alfonso tonight. Hooray! This made me very, very pleased, and I felt my enjoyment of this match sort of double at this point.
Yeah, I think at this point the match kind of picked up a little bit, to be honest with you.
No more Alfonso. Hooray!
Oh, God, that whistle.
Oh, Sabu, like I say, does the leg drop, but then Sandman comes out.
God forbid.
He takes out various people. He has a Swanton bomb, and Sabu is pinned by both of his competitors. Sandman is then dragged away by this original security guard who had just battered his cane outside, but not before Sabu can do a dive off the top rope onto all the security and the Sandman. That looked really nice.
On a chair that looks like it's probably going to implode at any minute.
Yes.
Very, very dodgy stuff by Sabu.
So, Belly to Belly by Shane Douglas, again, gets 2. So that's the second one he's hit on Funk that hasn't worked. Sorry, it's just how ridiculous it is. I'm going to bury my own finisher. He hits a power driver on Terry Funk, and then Francine, Shane Douglas' manager, starts laying in the slaps. So Dory Funk Jr., of all people, wasn't expecting this one whatsoever. Dory Funk Jr. comes out and chases Francine to the back. And by this point, like, most of the locker room are sat on the ringside, which is unusual. So a belly-to-belly suplex by Shane, that gets 2. There's a table set up on the outside, they both go through it, which is lovely. A belly-to-belly suplex is counted into a really nice cradle by Terry Funk, that gets 2. And then a 4th belly-to-belly suplex finally gets the win for Shane Douglas. I get this is an eye-watering one, it really is. 26 minutes this match went. It was... What did you think of this one?
I really enjoyed ECW growing up. I really enjoyed ECW growing up. However, I've not got rose tinted glasses on. This was not a good match. Alfonso dragged it. The start was boring.
It really was.
It took forever for everybody to get into the ring. Really slow build up. I think once Alfonso was taken out of the equation, the match did improve just a little bit. Once it got down to Douglas and Funk, they kind of, I don't know. It was a mess of a match, to be honest with you. Botches galore, just oh god.
For me,
I did not enjoy.
It felt like they had 15 minutes tops worth of content.
Yeah, exactly.
That they'd had to drag out to a half an hour
It's
long
like
match.
we were saying before, like at the end of the match, there's like, whoa, there's nearly 50 minutes left on this pay-per-view for one match.
Yeah, that's the one. It's like, this is going to be long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or there's going to be shenanigans. And it turns out that it was long, and there was shenanigans. How'd you like that for a segue? Because there's more. Oh, there's more. So, Joel Gurner and the Dudley Boys come out, and they start trying to convince Shane to ditch the triple threat, which is Bam Bam Bigelow and Chris Candido, and join with the Dudley Boys. Of course, they've got the tag team championships. So we'll have all the gold, the members of the triple threat, and not happy about this one bit. So they come out and they have this big brawl, right? Which then turns into the entire locker room having this big brawl. And in the middle of this big brawl, the triple threat, they're like, oh, fuck it, and fuck off. And they just go to the back. So the guy who's just won the championship, yeah, fuck it, I'm out of it, right? And so what? I just don't understand why this happens at all. It's just crazy. This big, massive locker room brawl starts out. But I mean, I suppose it does. In the end, it makes sense. But you're sat there watching it, going, like, why is this happening? Why is this massive brawl going place? So it goes down to where Big Dick Dudley just hits chokeslams on every foot.
Yeah, he basically just cleans house with chokeslams.
So the last, so what you're expecting, the last thing to be seen is all the Dudley Boys are in the ring, and that's that. But wait, the gangsters' music here, and New Jack comes out, and Needs More Cronus comes out. It's all good because it's Beat Central, beats, and Balls. So you've got those two, and you've got Balls Mahoney, and you've got Terry Funk, and they all clean house. Cronus especially impressive, really sweet 450 splash. So then they leave through the crowd, and then not before they give Joel Gurner an absolute monstrous chair shot and a 450 splash by Cronus. So they all leave through the babyfaces leave through the crowd. The last thing we see on this show is Joel Gurner lying dead in the ring, and that made me smile quite a bit actually. But like I say, the first while this big locker room brawl's going down, you start again. I don't know why this is happening. I have no clue what's going on right now.
I found it very hilarious as well that Funk received like such a beating after the match. Like everybody put beats down onto Funk. And he was still celebrating in the crowd once everything was said and done. It's like, what?
Oh, I didn't mention my favourite part of this whole beatdown was, I forgot to mention, this Perry Saturn came out. He had a broken leg, right? Think about just imagine in your mind what Perry Saturn looks like. He's got the bald head, but he's wearing like cut off jean shorts. And he looks the spit of Stone Cold Steve Austin to the point where he hits 3 stunners. And he's sat there, I don't know what's happening here. And then he hits it with his fucking broken leg. Yeah. He hits an elbow drop off the top rope. And you sat watching it going, you are a stupid, stupid man. Surely that pop is just not worth the pain that you'll be going through with a broken leg.
Why would you do that? Why would that even cross your goddamn mind? Oh, God.
Okay, final thoughts of this pay-per-view.
Oh, God.
And your favourite match, please, sir.
Favourite match. It's hard to say, to be honest with you, because I really enjoyed the first 3-4 matches. They were really good. Everything after that it goes downhill for the most part, to be honest with you. RVD, always good. Taz, to be honest with you, really impressed me in this one. You really see exactly, why he was called the Suplex Machine. Everything that he did in the ring was just absolutely perfect. Big props to Taz on that one for me. Probably enjoyed that match the most, to be honest with you.
I can understand that. Paper overall?
Again, fairly decent. I would probably say, again, the first few matches were infinitely better than what came afterwards. The ending of the main event was meh. The brawl at the end didn't make sense. It's ECW. What do you expect? I love it.
I thought, I'm agreeing with you. Match of the night was the opening match. Taz, we fucked up really because we thought we'd just try and just tell you what we thought of the match, but without telling you what actually happened in it. So we only gave you like a little bit of that one, which we apologise for. But yeah, the best match of the night for me was the opener as well.
Definitely.
This one was an interesting. I mean, the first, like Dave says, the first 3 matches especially were good, and then the tag team title one was all right, and then there's 2 brawls at the end. Were just not my kind of thing at all. To be fair though, it wasn't that much. There wasn't that much of the hardcore style. The fans were all really into it, and a lot of the nitpicks that I have are not the pay-per-view's fault. And what I mean by that is that for some reason all the swearing was bleeped out.
Yeah.
And we were watching it on the WWE Network, so there's that. And of course, all the musics were changed. Like pretty much all the entrance music were changed.
Sabu didn't even come out to any entrance music.
I don't know if that's because he didn't have any, but yeah, something like those. But there's something very wrong about like Rob Van Dam, for example, came out with the old ECW thing.
Yeah.
And you start going, I want to hear Walk by Pantera. I did not like, but I can't knock the pay-per-view for that one. I enjoyed this one. I probably enjoyed it about as much as I enjoyed Battle Legal. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view too. Damn good fun.
Excellent. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like this, please let us know. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you'd like to see. Tell us what we're doing wrong, and we will take all of it on board. And we'll do November to Remember 1997 next time out.
Can't wait.
I don't know anything about the show whatsoever, and I really hope it stays like that, because I've enjoyed going into this one not knowing a thing about it. So people like Al Snow were like, oh my fucking god, yeah!
Shake the Snake Roberts, like, what?
Who the fuck is Lance Wright?
No idea.
I don't know who Lance Wright is.
No idea.
That's something to let the show down, I think. Lance Wright. I thought Styles' commentary was good for the most part. It was helpful, it was intuitive.
Cat fight.
So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Mark P.
I've been Extreme Dave.
He is so extreme.
So extreme.
Unbelievably extreme. Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy. And goodbye.
See you later, guys.
And stuff.
Yeah. Good sir. It's been a pleasure and an honour.